Hello and welcome to another episode of Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and today in the preview edition I'm showing you a new game from Gamia Games and the designer Svavar Björkvinsen. It's Ancient Aliens, Creators of Civilization. Yeah, cool idea, right? So the idea of Ancient Aliens is simple. We are playing one of these 4 alien races or alien civilizations, and we are striving around the galactic universe and trying to find new little tiny planets to help the species on this planet to grow and creating their story of civilization. And as it comes along, you can imagine these 4 aliens traveled around and found a new sun system, a very young sun system with a fresh new planet. And on this planet, there's a couple of, early human beings on it, so very minor educated creatures. And these high technology aliens coming around to help these people. Not really, they wanted really to dominate the planet, but they have to cover that a little bit. In the center of the game you have the centerpiece of a board, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 continents here. In the middle there's a crystal area, and here are storing areas for some buildings. What you're doing first is you are connecting your alien player board here with each continent. So you plug it in like this. Simply you push it towards it, and you do that with all the 4 alien species boards. Next one, and I prepared that a little bit today, so today it's a little bit different here than normal. So next you sort out these buildings here, which I already did, and place them on the according spots. Here in the corner, come on, zoom a little bit, you can see a symbol. It's a hex there. Why it's not? You see the hex there. It's also here, as you can see, but it's also here. The big hex here means all the 3 different buildings going here, and this is the 3rd building. Keep in mind they have double sides like this and that, and you put it with the more symbols on it, and these are the pre-requirements you have to need to build that later on. 2 on science, 2 on manufacturing, and 2 on, that's not really explained, but I would say it's something like spiritual thing. And the 3 means you need at least 3 on one of them, but it could be any. In addition, you need 7 gear and 6 spirit to really build it. That's 2 resources. So now you know why you place it like this. Once you build it, by the way, you flip it over and you use it like this. This horseshoe is simply victory points, and this is what you get out of it. In that case it was 5 crystals. You also take the crystals, which is the base currency, and the other ones are refined, and place them here in the middle. That's how this works. You also have a table like this one here, and this table you put it here in the middle. Just to let you know, by the way, this is a prototype. This is not the final version, because this game is on Kickstarter right now, as you know. The table is the player interaction area where you play your cards on it. So I'm just finishing all of this here, blah, duh, and dub, and put all the tiles on here, as you can see, and these tiles go here. You always have a level 1 building, a level 2 building, and a level 3 building of each different types. This is production, this is religious, and this is residential areas. But we have a 4th corner, this one here, and for that we have here so-called items. Red ones are items, and then level 1, 2, and 3 monuments. I already sorted them out, and you place them here and now the main board is set up. Now take a closer look how you set up the player area, and a player has a race card with a little bit of a background story on the back, and also a personal winning condition and a special agenda. So this one here wants to have residential buildings outside of your own continent. What does that mean? Simple. So this is your own continent, you're building on your own continent mainly, but when you build outside on the other 3 continents, you get victory points for it. As you can see, 3 victory points each residential building outside. So you can get a couple of victory points out there. Then you have these decks here, and these decks are numbered by 1, 2, and 3. These tech level decks here, and you simply flip them over like this, 1, 2, and 3. Now I have 1, 2, and 3. Next one, you take these tokens here, and all these tokens going onto the quartering symbol here, but on the 0 space here. So this, then the wrench is coming in here, and the pyramid with the eye is coming in here, and also 2 production markers, this one here and that one. Setup of your board is now ready. I will show you the rest of the things. You have 5 buildings of this residential, 5 buildings of the spiritual or religious buildings, and 5 production. You get 1 crystal here. This is a permanent crystal area, that's a fluent crystal area, and fraction tokens. You do that for all 4 different players. Speaking about these tokens, by the way, just briefly, these tokens here and also these fraction tokens here, fraction markers, they are probably getting later on little acrylic tokens. So this one will be a stretch goal to get it up. Also, this will be a stretch goal. There's also another stretch goal for making this 2 little tiny crystals. Maybe very close to Mage Knight, the board game. They have acrylic or plastic crystals in as well. And I don't know if they are making this buildings for plastic buildings as well. You place your buildings here on this area, and as you can see, it has a starting area and connected areas with the buildings on it. So you would get 3 different plastic building tokens per color if the stretch goal will be hit. Just to let you know. But now let's talk about how this game works, what the game flow is, and what you have to do in this hand management and economy / engine builder. All about is to build here buildings and go here and improve your tracks. You do that by your cards, and I wanted to show you the cards briefly. You have this Tech 1 level deck here, like this one, Tech level 1, and also printed on here as a 1. These cards have 3 parts: a top part, a middle part with a crystal symbol, and a bottom part. Let's talk about the top card. The top could be either an improvement like this, or now I have to find it. There should be a build somewhere when you're looking for it. A build like this. When you start the game or your round, you have always 5 cards on your hand, and you can use any of these cards in for either the top, middle, or bottom action once. So you pick 1 action per card, and that's what you're doing with it. Let's assume you would take this card here to improve the wrench. Then what you're doing is simply slide up 1 and discard the card because you used it once. Same here, you would improve here the pyramid with the eye on it. Simply take this one. That's a top action. Let's assume you wanted to take the middle action. In this case, you get 2 crystals. However, these crystals are not permanent. Here are permanent crystals. These crystals are just temporary. So you put the crystals here. We will see why you need some crystals in a minute. Or the third action and the third possibility is taking the bottom action. The bottom action has 4 different types. It could be 8. 8 is a support. In this case, you get 3 production and 3 spiritual power in your hand, which means you simply get it here on this track, 2, 3, and 3 when you play the card. So it's a kind of resource you get here. You get also defense cards. Defense are really passive actions, so you can only defend yourself when you're being attacked. Obviously, if there's a defense, there must be an attack somewhere, and attack is simply like this. It is a red font here, and you have a symbol in there, and this symbol means you are being attacked by a toxic attack. For defending, you need something that is anti-toxifications. So for an example, this symbol here is the antidote for that. This is how you attack and defend. And last but not least, but they are coming later on in the higher level cards, are gifts. Gifts from the gods. They have the yellow color here, and they are very powerful as well. Then you can use this gift, and they are either one use or reuse. One use means when you use that ability, not this or that, but when you use the bottom action, this card goes out of the game. If it's a reuse, you can use it per round once, but multiple times it goes into your discard pile and can be redrawn later on. Speaking about the 5 different cards you have and how you get higher level cards. Simply, let's assume my board looks like this later on here. Then I will show you how it works. This is in level 3, this is in level 1, and this is in level 1 as well. So for my rightmost technology, I get 1 card level 3. For my second rightmost, both of them are tying in level 1, I get another 1, so I would get another 1. And the last one, which could be this one here, for an example, gives me the last 3 cards. If this would be in here, I would get 1 level 3, 1 level 2, and 3 level 1. And in this case, 1 level 3, 1 level 2, and 3 additional level 2, so 4 level 2 and 1 level 3. This is how these tracks working, and they are giving you higher power cards or better cards with better abilities. This is the hand management part, how you get your cards and how you use your cards. Again, you use in a perfect round, you use all of your cards on one round for one action, and you can pick 1, 2, or 3 different options per card. But let's say you wanted to build one of these buildings. Again, to build a building, you need this card for an example here. This card, building, allows you to build a residential structure. Take a look at the board. Here you can find the residential structure, and it depends on your pre-requirements. Let's assume you have all of this one, level 2, and level 2. Let's take a closer look. Level 2, and level 3 even. And you need at least 1 level 3. Then you can build for 7 gear and 6 religious circles. You can build this building. Again, I told you already how you get these, either from aids or, and that is more important, from these buildings. Let's assume in a previous round I built this production building. Then I place the production building here. If I do so, I have to place a production token here on my continental area, and also build this building here. Now I can activate this building with one of my crystals. You remember I have crystals here, permanent or temporary, but it doesn't matter which one you use. You put your crystal on here. In that moment, I'm getting up 4 on my gear. Remember, I had the 3 and 3 from the one card. Now I have 7 and 3. Remember, I wanted to build this one here, 7 and 6, right? Let's take a look how I can do that. And let's assume I have a little bit more crystals here. You could also take these crystals into the crystal converter. Each single crystal conversion gives me 2 points here, and I could take either 2 of this, 2 of that, or 1 and 1. In this case, I wanted to take 2 of this. For the next conversion, I already need 2 of them, so I will use 2 of this, and now I can take another 2. Now I have 7 and 7, and I could build this one. To build it, I need this card and use the top action here. That allows me to build a residential structure. So I use this power here to take that building put it here, and also put one of these tokens here down here. In that moment, this building, because it's a residential, gives me immediately 5 crystals that I can use on this turn if I want to. However, I have to go down 7 and 6, of course, because I have to pay for it. That is how the build works, and here you build your engine. As you can see, the first one cost you 1 and 2 for the second one. The next one would cost you an additional 4, so that is getting really expensive, as you can see. So let's grab some more. So now you need 3, 4, and 4 to 7 crystals to activate that 3 times. So that's really expensive. By the way, the fourth activation would cost you additional 8. That bumps you up to a total of 15. As you can see, this conversion is really limited. So you are really limited in using that. Therefore, you need the production buildings here, which makes sense, right? In an engine builder. One thing that you could keep in mind, now it's really tough to track which one was temporary, which one was permanent. Simply reset your crystals back. You get 1 from the start, from the get-go. And for each of these residential buildings, either 1, 3, or 5 permanently. So in this case, I would get the 5 from here, 5 plus the 1 from the start, and this would go out, and you throw them under this table here. Yeah, this is what you're doing on your turn. You use them. If you have, for any reason, which makes no sense, and it's very rare that this happens, 1 card left in your hand and you don't use it because you wanted to have a defense card and you cannot really use it, then simply discard it and draw 5 new cards according to this tableau here. So either level 1, 2, or 3. They have to be obviously face down. Sometimes with these 8 cards, you can also take control of other buildings on other continents, or you are allowed to build on other continents, and that's where the player interaction comes into play. Usually you play all these attack cards here to take over different buildings, then you can either take it over there or even on the continent. So, and then you really take over the production from there. You can use their production, or you simply really build on their continents. So in this case, it can get really iffy, and some people could be offended by taking this over. I figured out over the couple of last days that there's 2 strategies in this game. Either you play completely defensive, the defense way, and do nothing, not interacting with people, and just bumping up your stats and building your engine here, or playing this very aggressive and trying to spread out your buildings. And this is driven by the character cards. These here, for an example, giving me victory points for each residential building outside of my own continent. So this race really wants to spread out their people. Yellow is the same. They are giving it for production buildings. And what a surprise, red one will get this for religious buildings. However, gray, on the other hand, that's a neutral person. They are getting points for each continent that does not have other fractions on them. A maximum of 16, including their own. And speaking about 16 points, so we ended up usually with roughly 60 points-ish. So 16 points is a big swing. Now you know the flow of the game and the rules of the game. Let's talk a little bit about the winning strategies and the clue ways to get to what you need. So first of all, early on, improving this to get at least access to level 2 cards and also get access to these higher buildings here, which the second level always needs at least 1, 2, and 2 1s, is really helpful. Why? The production building, for an example, from level 1 here, gives you when you produce only 2 gears. Well, that's not really good, but the second one already gives you 4 gears. So with 1 crystal you get 4 gears. You need a little bit more. Oh, sorry. So you need a little bit more to pay for it, but this is affordable. If you have 2 of them and probably 2 of the same religious buildings, you are in a pretty good shape. And don't forget these residential buildings, they are right a little bit more expensive right from the get-go. Level 1 costs even 4 gears instead of 2, but they are giving you permanent crystals, and permanent crystals are super useful to activate your buildings. So you build your engine out of these 3 buildings. These are straight victory points, these are monuments, and you can build them from stack number 3 here. So from card level 3, it looks like this. Build either an item or monuments level 1, 2 or 3, and then you simply pick one of these, whatever fits you. They don't have special abilities, they are straight victory points, in this case 9, but as you can see the requirements are pretty high. Level 3, level 3 and level 3. Speaking about level 3, so when at any point in the game someone reaches his last token here, game is immediately over and that person gets additional 10 victory points, and again 10 victory points is a lot. Saying 10 victory points is a lot leads me to 2 ways to win the game. First key to win the game is getting fast here on the improvement track is a key to win. The other key to win is build a lot of these buildings. Doesn't matter if it's here or out there. These additional bonus points are nice, but you should not focus too much on it. Why? Yeah, I mean, attacking can be really dangerous. If you attack someone like this here, I want you to attack the red player, and he is a defense card, so you get nothing out of your card. So building in your own structure is always better, but doesn't give you the special victory points at the end of the game. And don't forget the residential buildings, they are giving you a crystal income. This is exactly how you play Ancient Aliens, and now let's talk a little bit more briefly about the uniqueness of this game, what is really cool on this Kickstarter project and things like that. First of all, I really enjoyed and appreciate the different 3 stacks here. I think that's pretty neat that you get more powerful cards. That's not unique, but with this improvement track that goes up here, that is a pretty neat way to get higher power cards and better cards. And I also like that these fractions are not really balanced. They are completely different, or in other words asymmetrical. So some have a lot of attacking cards, some have a lot of defense cards, some have more on religious buildings, some have more on production buildings, and so on. So this is pretty neat. Also the gifts of the gods are completely unique. So you have 4 complete different playable races in this game, and you have very asymmetrical powers, but you always have this level 1, 2 and 3 tech stack, which is pretty neat. And also that you mix these when you are here on level 3, on level 2 and level 1, you get 1 card on 3, 1 on 2 and 3 on 1. So the incentive to bump it up here is pretty strong. I really like that. That is a neat mechanism to get there. My favorite part on this game is definitely the history. It feels like X-Files. Scully and Mulder always believed the truth is out there. And here's the truth. Here's the truth right on my board game table. Aliens came to the planet when the civilization was really young. The humans were not super smart, they don't have enough technology, and the aliens came with their experience about the whole universe, their superior technology, and gave it to their little tribes, to their little continents, to see their race developing faster than the other ones. Mulder and Scully would be proud to have a game that exists about their story. And honestly, as you know, I really like theme and I like stories, so this is a really cool, fresh story. I haven't seen in a game this X-File twist before. Another thing that I usually, if you watch my channel a lot, appreciate, and you know that, is when you use cards, use them smart. So when you use cards, you should not be just by random draw luck or just unlucky draw screwed. So you can use these cards in multiple ways, obviously in 1, 2, 3 different ways. And that's exactly pretty neat, because you always need some crystals, but you also need these improvements, and you sometimes want to build, most likely always, and this attack on defense cards and aid cards are super helpful as well. So even if you are not 100% happy with what you get in your hand on the first look, you always find a good solution to use all of your cards. And a typical standard is either 2 or 3 improvements and 2 or 3 buildings, and then you build 1 or 2 buildings, sometimes 2, that's really good. Use 1 or 2 improvements and the third one for crystals in the first round, because there is not a lot of to attack. Later on you use more the bottom part, because it's getting more and more interesting to spread out your little tribes into the world. Another thing that I really appreciate is that this game is technically scaling to each single player, not in difficulty or in speed or things like that. No, in terms of what type of player are you? Are you more the researcher and the guy who's improving your stats? Then go up here and play it completely peaceful. Ignore the victory point conditions from your race and simply build your own style. Most likely you will be not attacked, but in games like this, honestly, all my gaming friends, not all of them, but most of them, are either attacking always the leader. It's hard to say in this game who is the leader, or someone who attacked you previously. So it could end up in yellow is attacking red, or yellow is attacking green, and they are both fighting to each other, or maybe the 3-1, and gray is simply boosting up his stacks. So you can play your style whatever you want. You can play it very aggressive, or you can just build your own empire. I really appreciate that. That is not a must-have. However, I wanted to mention one thing. In a 3-player game, you have this, and that color, not gray. Gray is the color, remember, that wants to have continents without other colors. So in a 3-player game or a 2-player game, there is an incentive to spread out. In a 4-player game, you always have this character that wants to, oh no, I don't want that, I cancel your action, because he is getting victory points from that, and he's sometimes even canceling actions when yellow attacks red to just clear that territory of other colors, or he's trying to say, okay, retreat your own buildings back to your own continent. That's what he is doing sometimes as well. And that, combined with variable player powers and different cards, slightly different, not big difference, but that is pretty cool and unique. Another thing that I really appreciate is, let's assume I'm the red player and I just finished my turn. So I had this discarded, and now in clockwise order, obviously green is the next player. In that moment I draw 1, 2, 3, and let's say 2 2s here, like this. That's my next hand. While green, yellow and gray is playing, I can figure out my new strategy from my 5 cards. I know that's not super unique, but I think right now it's state of the art. You should do that this way. So downtime is very low. You can play that game very fast if you are really preparing, while 3 other players doing their turn, your own turn. Again, this is not never seen before in a game, but at this point in this industry, in my opinion, it's a must-have to not creating too much AP or downtime. If you are looking for a cool engine builder with a thrilling background story and a unique card drawing mechanism with this 3 level stacks, I haven't seen that in a game so far, then you should definitely consider backing Ancient Aliens right now on Kickstarter. Ancient Aliens, creators of civilization, tells a whole nice story, a nice background arc about how could we really civilized our Earth and how we really could be existing with outside interference. If you are looking for a very competitive game and a huge player interaction coming from the different abilities of the creatures, you should also consider Ancient Aliens. This one really incentive people to attack people or spreading out your buildings into different countries / continents. I really like that aspect because usually in engine builders that player interaction is not a huge factor. And last but not least, what I really enjoyed on the game is you have plenty of options. With all these cards you have 15 different actions to choose from. You simply choose 5, but you have 15 different actions each single turn to choose from, and that is really clever. Usually when you have cards, you use your cards and play the text, whatever is printed on it, and that's it. If you draw 5 bad cards, you're out. Keep in mind and think about a deck builder. They usually have 2 different currencies: money to buy cards or attack to attack some creatures or whatever. If there's a creature that needs 3 attack and the next good card is either 2 or 4 and you have 3 money and 2 attack, what can you do? You cannot kill the creature and you cannot buy the cool 4 card. You can buy, however, the 2 cards, but it feels like I wasted 1 coin and 2 attack. So in this game it cannot happen because you have always 15 options to choose from every single turn. This is Ancient Aliens, creators of civilization, a game from Gamia Games and created by Swava Björk. If you like the whole package of a cool story around build, ancients, aliens, civilization and all of that, please consider backing right now Ancient Aliens on Kickstarter from Gamia Games. This was another preview from Cyrils Brettspiele. My name is Nils and see you next time. Until then, bye bye.